Andrew Fisher, former senior policy advisor for Jeremy Corbyn, who wrote the 2017 and 2019 Labour manifesto, is now a columnist for the I newspaper. Andrew, very good evening to you. Let me put it straight to you. Do you think Labour looks like a government in waiting right now?
Good evening, Ben. I mean, look, elections are relative. The Tories are imploding, fighting amongst themselves. Does Labour look less shambolic than them? Yes, but that's setting a pretty low bar. Does it look like a government in waiting ideally? I.e., has it got a clear set of coherent policies and people know what it stands for? Absolutely not. And it's been 2.5 years now that Keir Starmer's been leader nearly. And we still don't know what he stands for. He doesn't seem to know what he stands for at times, hence the confusion today. And that's a real problem. You can't just define yourself against something else, whether that's the previous Labour leader or the current Tory Prime Minister or the potential future Tory Prime Ministers. You've got to set out what you stand for. That's how you build trust. And the worry is for Labour, and you said it in your opening piece, Ben, people don't trust Keir Starmer. His personal ratings aren't very good. And the worry is if a Tory leader comes in that does, capture the public's mood, that detoxifies their party after Boris Johnson a bit, and that's a big if, don't get me wrong, then actually Keir Starmer fades even faster. And that's a real worry for Labour, I think.
What Keir Starmer's team will say, what they do say, is that they've spent several years undoing the damage that was done by your former boss. And only now have they got to a point where people are willing to listen to Labour once again. And that means only now can they start really spelling out what they would do if Keir Starmer is in government. Do you accept that argument?
Not at all. Keir Starmer did a big speech on the economy just over a year ago where he said, this is a new economic age. People want more state intervention, sort of painting himself as a new Clement Attlee. And his big idea then was British recovery bonds. Now, they've been junked. The big state intervention message that was in that speech has gone. He's sort of been flip-flopping between different economic messages entirely. Comparing him to Jeremy Corbyn, it's not really relevant. I mean, let's be frank as well. Jeremy Corbyn is the only Labour leader since Tony Blair to have gained seats for Labour at an election. There's a lot that went wrong under Jeremy Corbyn, but there are also some things that were right. And actually, Keir Starmer himself, when he was standing for the Labour leadership, said the 2017 manifesto is my foundational document. It inspired people, and we've got to keep hold of that. Now he's junking it, or junking bits of it, or maybe he is, or maybe some in his shadow cabinet are, but he's not sure. I don't know. It's very confused. So I don't think he can blame it all on the last bloke. I think that's a bit desperate after 2.5 years. I don't remember Jeremy Corbyn laying into Ed Miliband, who lost heavily in the 2015 election.
I think Jeremy Corbyn did lay into quite a few previous Labour leaders, Andrew. But let me ask you directly. You say he's not doing enough. What do you think Keir Starmer needs to do between now and the next general election to make sure that your party wins it?
I think it's pretty clear. Look, we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis. You need to explain why that is and what you would do about it. We've got, just today, we've told there's record staffing shortages in the NHS. What's Labour going to do about that to put it right? That's what people are interested in. All this stuff about, I'll have a distinctly British policy that will be financially responsible and we'll go for growth. It's empty rhetoric. It all falls apart the minute you sort of try to engage with it. What people need is concrete ideas and a very clear sense of what Labour stands for. And we haven't heard any of that. And that's the big problem. Saying I'll establish a committee is good, but he didn't really explain what it would do, why it would be there. This National Industrial Council could be good, could be terrible. But what does it do? What is it for? He didn't explain that. It was all just kind of rhetoric. It was like a placeholder of a speech without any real detail or thought. And it's not surprising that when different people from the shadow cabinet have been on the media today, they've said different things because it's all so empty.
And just lastly, if I did say to you as a Labour member, a Labour activist, what does your party stand for as we speak in July 2022? Tell our listeners what your party is about. What would you say?
Well, my party, the Labour Party, is constitutionally a democratic socialist party. That's what it says on everybody's membership card. That's what it stands for. What the Labour leadership stands for, your guess is as good as mine, Ben, I'm afraid.
You have no idea. You have no idea what your own party leader stands for.
Not on a whole range of things, no. It's not clear, and it's even less clear after today, I think.
Wow. Andrew, good to speak to you. Andrew Fisher there, former senior policy advisor for Jeremy Corbyn. Thank you for your time tonight. Andrew wrote the 2017 and 2019 Labour manifestos, but as you've just heard, says he has no idea what his current party leader stands for.